If you've ever printed out a fresh chore chart only to abandon it before the week is out, then stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mystie Winckler, homemaker, homeschool mom of 5, and grandma, author of the book Simplified Organization, Learn to Love What Must Be Done, and hostess here at Simply Convivial. Convivial means enjoying life together. That is the hospitable atmosphere that we want to cultivate in our homes. We build a convivial life as a family without perfectionism or overwhelm by learning to love what must be done, organizing our attitudes, and walking in fruitful faithfulness. My goal is to see as many women as possible become engaged, competent, cheerful Christian homemakers. And that is possible even when it comes to teaching our kids to do chores and contribute to the family. But sometimes chore charts are not actually the way to go about that. So if you've tried chore charts and they haven't worked, I will tell you why and what you can do instead in today's episode. Grab a basket of laundry to fold and let's dig in. So you've tried the chore chart thing and it just doesn't seem to work for you or your kids. Like any plan, chore charts don't work unless you look at them. And getting kids to look at the chore chart and do the thing that it says is surprisingly difficult. Sometimes just having that chore chart there with the expectation that it creates in us as moms that we've done our part and now it's all on the kids to follow through on our plan leads to a less than convivial home atmosphere. So sometimes that tempts us to just do away with chores altogether. I mean, if we aren't going to do chore charts, what options are left? There are actually plenty of chore options left, even if you don't have chore charts. Now, actually, having a written plan that is visible for everyone can be helpful, but the more complicated that chore chart, the more likely it is to not actually work. Even if doing the chore chart means that the children are promised some kind of reward, even if it involves stickers and they love putting stickers on things, you might think that that would be enough to make the chore chart work on its own, where all you have to do is put it up, insert the proper reward for the children to follow through, and then suddenly, boom, you have chores being done consistently every day without you having to nag. And by nag, I mean not even remind your children at all anymore. When we expect as moms to outsource any kind of mothering or parenting to our children, any kind of training or discipleship, our expectations are going to be disappointed. Chore charts don't discipline our children. We do. So sometimes the chore charts are not working because we invested too much of our own authority and responsibility to this piece of paper that isn't actually doing anything. No matter what kind of chore routine you have in place, it will involve your own engagement and attention as a mother. Before our kids will follow through, we have to follow through every day, just like our kids do. But we can do that without it devolving into nagging. So let's talk about 3 things that moms can do to help our kids do chores more consistently without relying on the perfect magical chore chart system that will do it all for us. First, we have to recognize what chore charts do not do. We think that the chart is giving everyone accountability. And it's possible for charts to help with accountability, but in and of themselves, they really don't provide accountability. For the chart to offer accountability to mom and to the kids, both parties have to care. And actually offering rewards for completion of the chart does not really help our children learn how to care. That might be counterintuitive, but tell me if you've seen something else in your household. It might help them be excited to follow through for a day or two, but that excitement, that motivation, that accountability does not last. And we find ourselves as moms adding more and more rewards, making the rewards bigger and bigger to try to get that excitement going and to try to continue the motivation. And we end up inflating our family's economy. We end up unwittingly training our children to be mercenary rather than training them to pitch in and be a part of the team effort of the household. Now, any kind of chore routine requires clear communication. And sometimes what we want with the chore chart is for the chart to do all the communicating for us. We as mom think it all out ahead of time, plan perfect execution and what that looks like. Write it all down so that everyone knows, and then simply post it and expect everyone to fall in line and do it just as specified. But let me ask you, if that's worked for yourself, have you tried it for yourself, where you imagine what it would look like to do all the housework in an ideal routine? Exactly all the steps, and you plot it out, write it out, post it. Do you follow that? Does it actually work in real life? I've never found that it does. Real life requires flexibility and iteration. No super specific list can predict the kind of messes and the care that particular situations need in active, busy family life. The spills, the relational bumps, the discipline. We have to be personally engaged in the situation at hand as moms. And just like super specific chore lists don't work for us personally, they also don't work for kids. It's not a substitute for actual interpersonal communication. Now, it is a good idea to have a clear idea in your head what you want your kids to do, but then you need to be able to adapt that on the fly to what it turns out their actual abilities are and what kind of help and discipline they need to make that happen. So if you do have a chore chart, it needs to be flexible. You need to be ready to adapt it and adjust it depending on how actual implementation goes. Because no matter how clear your procedure checklist is on your chore chart, those steps listed are not a substitute for actually training our children and bringing them along as apprentices to the work. Our kids need more than the printed word to teach them how to work, how to do the job, and also how to apply themselves when they don't feel like it. I mean, we need that lesson too, don't we? And sometimes the lessons that we are given to teach our children are given to us so that we can learn them ourselves. And we just have to embrace that and be willing to take that lesson ourselves and then repeat it to our children because we need it repeated ourselves. So there is no perfect chore list that is going to suddenly make everything work smoothly without your input, attention, and engagement. A chore list might supplement and aid your attention, your discipleship of your children, apprenticing them in life. But it is no substitute. It does no work for you. So if you put too much of your hope on the proper list, you are bound to be disappointed. But the solution is not giving up on doing chores with the kids at all. The solution is embracing the work that it is to work alongside our children. This is why I'm putting together the masterclass Raising Capable Kids, Family Chores That Work, where we're going to talk not about a single system that's universally applicable, but rather principles for putting into practice chore apprenticeships, teamwork, and real accountability in our own individual families. But first, we need to talk about our role in this apprenticeship approach. So that's what we're going to cover in our next episode, which you can catch right here.